All right, so this is the biggest difference between Christianity and atheism, and of course, it's God. God, who is the God? Is it you, or is it an omnipresent, type of being, like in the Bible? That's basically it. Which one is God? And the thing about atheism is, let's say they draw that line in the sand, right? I'm on this side, rape is wrong, right? That side, I committed the rape. You know, the thing is, I made that line. I am my own God. So if you're your own God, you can move that line, right? So let's say I haven't, I've been trying to sleep with a woman for 10 years, and let's say I was born with a defect, so I'm ugly and all these things, and you know, so let's say no matter how hard I try, I can't get one. Well, there's going to be a point where you're going to say, you might cross that line a little bit. Let's say, I don't know if I can do this. But let's say, okay, so let's say you roofie the girl, right? And then you touched her inappropriately, right? You just crossed that line. But the thing about evil people is that evil people don't say, I'm evil, I'm wrong, throw me in prison. They do the exact opposite. They try to make themselves the good guys and themselves the victims, They always try to justify themselves. You see this with, I used to watch a lot of daytime shows, like Maury and Steve Willicoast, and, I used to watch a lot of that. The guy would cheat and stuff, and the guy would never go, I'm a cheater, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, this and that. They would never man up to it. They'll always try to blame the victim. Well, it's your fault, you didn't sleep with me. It's your fault, you didn't want to have more time for me. They never take ownership of the action. That's probably like one of the biggest things you have to move forward. If you don't take ownership, you will not move forward. It's kind of, the alcoholics, not, the alcoholic thing. The first step is to admit it. You have to admit it. You have to say, I have this problem, and move on, and then you can fix it, and then you can do all these things. If you don't admit it, then you don't have no problem. There's nothing you need to fix. It doesn't matter if you're, drinking yourself to death, and, it's only when you admit you have the problem can you fix it, And let's say, so now I got the taste, right? So let's say I go a little further next time. Let's say I forced somebody, I raped them. See, I crossed that line. I could just keep moving it. That's the thing about atheism. You could just keep moving that line to wherever you want it to be. Where if, let's say the same thing happened, but now God put that line there. So let's say the same thing happened, 10 years passed, and I did the same things. But the thing is, when I first crossed that line, it doesn't matter. I am crossing that line. I am against God. I just crossed that line. I now know where I stand. I can't move that line. The only person who can move that line is God, You see this with, the Jews said, Jesus said it. He says, I can forgive sins. And the Jew says, this is blasphemy. Who can forgive sins but God? And Jesus forgives sins. He was God in the flesh. He was the perfect sacrifice. We are all sinners. We do not stand up to his holy righteousness. We will not stand, Atheists do this too. They like to say they're good and this and that. And it's like, well, on a human standard, well, who cares? It's pretty easy to be good. Well, on God's standard, it's impossible. It's impossible without Jesus. And we're not looking at this as, you're not the God of this world. This is the true God of this world, Jesus. So, Jesus Christ. And we're looking at his standard. And if you read that Bible, his standard is, you can't lie once. You lie once, you go to hell forever. You can't even look on a woman with lust once. That's in hell forever. And you can't even hate somebody. You hate somebody, it talks about how you killed them in your heart. And that is God's standard. You cannot measure up to it. And that is what Jesus was here for. He was the perfect sacrifice. He was the perfect life. He did not lie once. He did not do any of those evil things that we do on a daily basis, The Bible talks about in Genesis, they did evil in their mind continually, And that's how it is today. We do evil all day in our mind continually, So that's the big difference, Who is God? And atheists worship a false God, which is themselves, and, it's like, really? I always thought, how weak and pathetic humans are. I remember watching Dragon Ball Z and, Goku, one of the strongest persons. And, it's fake and everything, but still, like, he was taken down by a heart disease or something. I can't remember, some type of heart disease, and he got taken down. And, listen, we could be the strongest person right now. 40 years past, we're weak, we're old. Like, we are not gods, man. We are so pathetic and weak, and especially then you got the standard of God, who's all powerful. His power it doesn't stop. It just continues. He is infinite. We are finite and all these things. So hopefully you guys will realize the truth, and to the Christians who do know the truth, hopefully this can make you answer people's questions a little better, I guess. I don't know. Well, God bless you guys.